Thanks for joining us on Good News Forecast on WTOL 11 Plus. I'm Heather Paula.
And I'm Sophia Pericone. We're back to bring you more positive and fun stories from the week. And we always like to start with the check-in of our weeks. Heather, how was your week?
It was good. It was busy.
Okay.
In mid-July, you're always kind of wrapping up all the kids' summer things. We had baseball, and so finally things are starting to calm down for us. How about you?
Well, no kids here, so my week was good. It was fine. Hey, another week is another good week. I'm still here above ground, so I can't complain.
There you go. I love it.
It's been good, and I'm enjoying the summer heat. So
yes, I do too.
I do love that. I'm a little nervous for fall because it gets cold, and I don't like that.
It's a gradual thing, you know?
Yes.
No, Ohio
I trust the meteorologist here. It's gradual. It's gradual. So.
It's not. I was trying to make you feel better.
I appreciate that.
Sure.
Well, if you think your family get-togethers are a little bit crowded, you might want to meet Ruth Massarant.
The 90-year-old from Frenchtown Township has 200 descendants and counting.
That's a lot of descendants at one time. Steve Iwanek sat down with her to learn the secrets to 5 generations of family.
They're all equal.
Since 1963, from the outside, this Frenchtown Township farmhouse might seem quiet. But on the inside, it was anything but.
All this house is just booming.
At the heart of the home is 90-year-old Ruth Massarant, the centerpiece of a very large family.
So I have 11 kids, and then how many grandkids do you have?
64.
64 grandkids, okay? And then how many great-grandkids do you have?
124.
Born in Toledo in 1934, Ruth had 11 children with her late husband Gerald, 7 girls and 4 boys through a 67-year marriage. And big families? That's just in the blood.
My dad was the youngest of 10 children, and my mother was a big family. My sisters all had big families.
Now 5 generations later, from kids to grandkids to great-great-grandkids, there's a total of 200 of them, organized by a list of their names in her kitchen.
And we all live within 8 miles. We can get together anytime we want to have a party.
And when they do, they make it count.
The Massarant family legacy is displayed behind me on the walls that you can see. This was Gerald's purpose. This was his life goal, was to document all of his kids, his grandkids, his great-grandkids, the little moments that he cared so much about.
We didn't have designer clothes, and we didn't have the best tennis shoes or the best anything, but we grew up with everything we needed, and we were always happy. We grew up happy.
Ruth's daughter, Kathy Jones, and 3 of her sisters, Lynn, Barb, and Michelle, joined us during our visit. Barb with 11 kids of her own, Kathy with 9, and
I have 38 grandchildren.
And from their family grain mill to St. Charles Catholic School and Church, what drives Ruth is her faith and the 200 lives added to the Massarant family legacy living on in Southeast Michigan.
It's a blessing. I really feel grateful.
And the family is still growing.
Yeah, earlier in the week, Ruth welcomed her 125th great-grandchild. Amazing.
You can never get alone time in that family, though, I bet.
Of course not. I mean, when you have, 11 children under one roof, I mean,
Yeah.
we were talking while the story was running, and that has to be such an expensive Christmas.
I know.
Buying gifts for all of those kids, and that's just your kids.
Yeah.
Not the grandchildren.
The great-grandchildren. I
Yes.
think there's some great-great-grandchildren in there.
That's a lot.
201 now living descendants, 365 days a year. You almost have a birthday
Almost every day.
single day.
Yeah. Or if there's maybe some overlap, maybe some people share birthdays.
Yeah,
I wonder how
that's
you
a good point.
you have just the whole family gathered up. Do you think they have to rent a hall to get together? They probably do.
That's what it looked like. That's what it looked like. I will say, overlapped birthdays. My cousin and I have the same birthday, 1 year apart.
Oh my
I
gosh.
do have a big family. not this big, but we do have the same birthday, which I always think is funny.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah. So as the Massarants were welcoming yet another family member, the University of Toledo College of Medicine welcomed the newest class of medical students.
175 first-year medical students, so that's fewer than
Then there are Massarants.
family. 175 first-year medical students took their first symbolic step into the world of medicine, donning their white coats for the very first time. The ceremony marks the end of orientation week and the beginning of their journey to becoming physicians.
It feels amazing. I mean, just right when I put the coat on, just like a wave of emotion came over me, just like everything that I've been through and accomplished, and everyone that supported me, my parents, grandparents, siblings, just everyone. Like, this is a huge achievement, not just for me, but everyone that's helped me along the way.
The class of 2029 now begins their studies with 4 years ahead of them before they earn their title of doctor. Medical students come from across the country, representing more than 20 states. More than half, 63%, are Ohio residents. Congratulations to them.
Very exciting. Well, the local youth sports team just won big. The NFL Flag Championships bring together the best youth teams from across the nation.
One of the teams that competed is the AU Toledo Dirty Birds, who won the championship in their division. Noel Blumel has more on their victory.
And it's a moment that I will never forget, and I know they will never forget it as well.
With a 1-point victory at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the Dirty Birds, a youth travel team, brought home Toledo's first ever NFL Flag Football Championship.
You know, I've been doing this 10 years. To finally get to that highest point and do it and watch the kids just, do all the work. They're the ones doing the work, and to have it actually happen and come out victorious was, honestly, it was just a big relief.
But it wasn't a straight route to the top.
We actually started out behind 14-0 and kind of looked at each other. It was kind of a gut check. The kids kind of rallied together, made some defensive stops, and then we kind of just put one play after another. The game ended up 23-22. The rest is history.
One of the players reflected on his favorite moment from the weekend.
I had a touchdown every game, and then I had 2 picks.
One of which he returned for 6.
It was exciting because it was in the semifinals right before we were about to go in the championship.
The memories of earning a championship ring will always carry weight, but doing it for their hometown stands as the greatest accomplishment.
It was very exciting because I've never won that tournament before, so it was a great experience there. I feel proud to do it for Toledo.
A pride they hope continues to grow the game.
We're hoping it brings more light to the NFL flag in this area, to just bring people here, the Dome, all the areas, the leagues around. It's awesome. It's an awesome experience, and it's great to be able to say Toledo Birds was the first one in Toledo area to actually pull this off.
And flag football isn't just taking off for local boys. Young girls in Northwest Ohio are hitting the gridiron too.
Tyler Segerman has the story.
Y'all should know this one by heart. Track meet.
Seizing an opportunity. That's been the focus between these lines.
Learning the ins and outs of the rules, being able to teach them different techniques, catching the ball. Flag pulling is actually a real art, so it's not as easy as it looks. I promise you, get some adults out here, they make themselves look like a fool.
Last spring, girls flag football made its debut inside the Rossford Dome. Much like the Oregon City Rec League, who jump-started its movement in 2023.
The benefits of that sport, how it's made me a better human, and I want that for my daughter, I want that for everybody, and this is a chance for girls to be able to compete against other girls.
Over the weekend in Canton, both programs experienced the national stage for the first time. Representing Northwest Ohio in the NFL Flag Championships.
It was really fun, and it was just a cool experience to go, and that our team went there too. So it wasn't just one of our teams went, a lot of our teams, 4 I think went.
I want to show the boys who's boss. My favorite memory was probably the touchdowns we scored, because those were big.
Although unable to win gold, the Toledo area has seen success at the regional level, despite being fairly new to the game. Credit to time and dedication from these young athletes.
And it shows for us to be able to go to Houston and perform in the Junior Olympics. that's key for our community, that's key for our state, and it's only going to help build the program, help build the sport, and then put more shine on flag football.
That spotlight is already moving the needle, with a surge in numbers for both Toledo and Oregon's participation. Great strides, but understanding there's still more work to be done.
To be completely honest, I think Northwest Ohio is starting to pick up. They're starting to get into it where Cleveland and Cincinnati and Columbus are already at.
It was tough. We played some tough teams, but we learned some things that we can practice and get better.
The quest to catch up is a welcomed challenge for these teams. After all, not long ago, Ellie Everts helped serve as a pioneer, playing and excelling against guys.
Go, Ellie! I learned that, girls can do stuff that boys can do, so it was definitely cool to see. It gave me a lot of confidence going back to, playing girls like in basketball and stuff like that, so that was cool.
The door for girls flag football is as wide open as it's ever been. Players like Bailey Schultz, who is in 6th grade, are now setting out a goal to play in college.
It's just cool to see just for the opportunities girls can have now. Going to college and just the Olympics. Too, that's grein to see. Just win a gold medal. That's awesome.
That gives me the chills.
I know.
That is so cool. First of all, that is a cool group of girls. Mm-hmm. Awesome that one of the teams almost doubled their team membership over here. They went from like 90 to 170. Mm-hmm. That's great. And congrats to the Toledo Dirty Birds too for bringing home their national championship. But shout out to the girls.
Absolutely, girls are tough. Girls should be able to play football. Absolutely awesome. Yeah. And I would love to see a game where some of the girls and the boys play together on a team because you'd really see how tough the girls are.
Oh yeah, and I like that the one girl said it's giving her confidence to bring to her other sports that she plays.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what it's all about.
I love it.
Wonderful. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. A Fremont Federal Credit Union parking lot was the scene of a brutal beating back in June.
But when police arrived, what they found wasn't what they expected, and officers ended up leaving with smiles on their faces and big laughs. I took a trip down to Fremont to figure out why.
This Fremont Federal Credit Union parking lot was the scene of a brutal beating back in June, one that was even caught on camera. And the victim? An ATM.
I swear that one of these days, I'll just beat the thing.
In a video modeled off the infamous scene from the movie Office Space, leaders with the credit union took a bat to a refrigerator disguised as one of the many ATMs the company has been having problems with.
Since the start of the year, our ATMs had been, let's say, lacking in service.
The credit union's VP of Marketing, Joe Tutak, says they were already in the process of upgrading the machines.
We felt the pains of our members. And we wanted to be able to provide them the service, and just like, okay, how do we get this done as quickly as possible?
And in an effort to show the community, he came up with the idea for the video.
I was like, Joe, are you for real?
Marketing coordinator Naya Miller has never seen Office Space, but was still tasked with editing the video to match the scene to a T.
He made me go home to watch it, but I still didn't watch it. I just watched the scene to make sure I had the right edits.
And during the beating, everything was fine until...
Oh boy, someone called the cops thinking we're actually destroying an ATM here.
CIO Matt Allum was in the zone, bat in hand, when Fremont PD rolled up. According to a police report, an anonymous caller reported seeing a group of people with bats hitting the ATM.
Call it a little going away present.
A funny moment with many pieces of flair raking in views to let customers know their voices are being heard.
Why does it say withdrawal if it won't let me take out any money?
We empathize with them and we're trying to make it better. And in the meantime, we can still have fun trying to make it better.
Reporting in Fremont.
Where's my stapler?
Sophia Pericone, WTOL 11.
Have you seen Office Space?
Yes. So I get it a little bit. What I'm disappointed about is that we didn't actually see the police arriving in the video.
I know. So I reached out to Fremont Police to try to get body camera footage. They said they didn't have it, and then it was a whole thing. But it is so funny because The girl, her name is Naya, she actually won an award from the company for her editing skills on that video.
Oh my gosh.
Having never seen Office Space. She got a video of the police walking up.
Okay.
But the sound wasn't on, so we don't know what they were saying or anything, but you could see the police officer laughing but just imagine like a police officer gets called for like something strange and then it's just 3 men in ties.
Well, you know what? That just goes to show you, though, that the people in Fremont are always watching, and if they see anything suspicious, they're going to call the police. So that's a good thing.
Point. That's a good point. And it's just so funny. It was an anonymous tipster. This person said, I want to be anonymous, but there's some people beating an ATM, but that is a good point.
I wonder if that 911 caller now is going to come forward and say, hey, I was the one that did that. And
I would love to speak to them.
I would do that. That's awesome. That's a great story for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So the third week of July is National Zookeeper Week, and we here in Toledo are very lucky to have an incredible zoo.
The zoo highlighted their elephant zookeeper on TikTok. Take a look.
Hi, I'm Crystal, and I'm an elephant keeper here at the Toledo Zoo. As an elephant keeper, people often find it very surprising in all the things that we do in a day. Yeah, we're putting out food, we're cleaning up their poop, but we do a lot of other things while we're out here as well. So they have mud wallows that are in the back of the exhibit. So we're using our tool cat to turn up those wallows, make sure there's loose sand, fresh water. We are fluffing up the sand mounds, and then all of the training that we do. So my favorite parts of being a zookeeper is developing those relationships with the animals and doing all those medical procedures. So getting to actually do the blood draws. We can take regular blood pressure readings, check their heart rate. We trim the bottoms of their feet, we trim their nails, make sure everything is healthy. Ever since I was a kid, I've always known that I had a passion for animals and wanted to work with animals in some way. Spent a lot of time volunteering with small and large animal veterinarians. I went to college at Michigan State University. I graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in Zoology. After college, I started volunteering here at the Toledo Zoo. I volunteered 1 day a week for about 4.5 years before an opportunity presented itself as a temporary elephant keeper. And so there I got my first experiences, targeting an elephant, wearing a pouch of food, getting to feed them, learning how to train an elephant. Those really gave me my first experiences. So after 11 months, when that position was up, and I landed my first permanent position at the Dallas Zoo, there I worked for 7.5 years with a total of 11 elephants there. So that really gave me a wide variety of experiences and really gave me a wealth of knowledge. And then I had a daughter, and me and my husband were thinking about wanting to move back home for family. So in 2020, I started getting text messages from our current elephant manager, Sarah, saying, we have an opening, do you want to come back? And so I applied for a position here at the Toledo Zoo. So I started back here in the fall of 2020. It's been such a joy to come back to a place that I already had started at. It is so much fun to educate, the public when we're out here doing training sessions, and then they ask us questions while we're out here, and then to see, the passion my daughter has for elephants. It's just so cool to show her the elephants and the rhino and spark a passion in her for animals like I had when I was younger.
I think that's my dream job.
Yeah?
I don't think I'm qualified. I am not qualified, but that is my dream job.
That's really cool.
To be an elephant keeper. If you were a zookeeper, what animal or exhibit would you want to be the keeper for?
I've gotten to feed a hippo once, which was really fun and scary.
Yeah.
I've also gotten to feed an octopus at the Toledo Zoo, which was also very scary.
Yeah. It's
so
gonna snatch you.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that I would just kind of enjoy anything that has to do with, taking care of the animals, interacting with them. I know a lot of times, especially, once we get to the later part of the summer, they start to do a lot of the enrichment with, the pumpkins and, just all kinds of different things. So anything really to engage with the animals, I think would be awesome.
And we have a great zoo, so if you haven't already, check it out. You could feed the giraffes, which I think is really unique.
Oh yeah, absolutely. My kids love it. Absolutely. You get slobbery, you got to kind of, do the whole hand washing thing.
Yeah,
but
it's worth it.
A really cool hands-on experience for sure.
Definitely. Well, we may still be in the midst of summer, but Starbucks just announced the return date for the fall favorite pumpkin spice latte along with other fall-flavored treats.
The beloved pumpkin spice latte returns August 26th, and in addition to the PSL, pumpkin cream cold brew, ice pumpkin cream chai, and the pecan crunch oat milk latte. I almost got that.
That's a mouthful.
They're also returning. New fall menu items include the pecan cortado and the Italian sausage egg bites.
Are you a Starbucks person?
I don't really go there very often.
Okay.
I don't.
Got it. So do you like fall drinks? So I know like
absolutely,
every chain
yes,
has.
absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, I love it all.
What's your favorite?
Anything hazelnut.
Ooh.
Hazelnut anything is like my fall go-to. So if it's hazelnut coffee or hazelnut creamer, I also like oatmeal cookies. So like anything.
That's a good one.
Anything in fall, any of those.
But is August 26th too early?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Is it too late?
No, absolutely not. No, I think so. You know, of course, me being a meteorologist, anything that's close to meteorological fall, which is September 1st, is when it officially starts.
Okay.
You know, anything that's close to that September 1st, I think is okay to start talking about fall. You know, you go out to the crafting stores, you start to get your fall decor.
Yeah.
I think September 1st or within a week of that, I think is acceptable.
Okay, so August 26th, meteorologist approved. Okay, good to know. We'll be right back with more good news in just a moment. Welcome back in. A lifetime in the library shared through a list of thousands of books, each one read by a Columbus man whose list is going viral.
The list is inspiring readers of all ages and all around the world. Take a look at what Dan read.
Dive into the ocean.
Story time at the library.
Striped fish swims.
Gathering families.
What do you see there?
And future readers.
Yes, it is an octopus.
Welcoming our youngest learners.
Wiggle like an octopus.
To a lifetime of discovery.
What kind of books do you like?
I like mermaids.
You like mermaids?
I like catching a dinosaur.
Inspiring readers of all experience, including one who has gone viral for the list of a lifetime.
When you think about what Dan read, how do you describe that?
Our intention was to hand it out at his funeral, and then when the library got a hold of it, it just went crazy.
Dan Pelzer, a lifetime patron of the Columbus Library, most recently here at the Whitehall branch, passed away on July 1st, leaving his daughter a list of the thousands of books he read during his 92 years.
In the first year, he read the Odyssey. So he was all over the place every year on his book list, and that's what makes it fun to read.
From the classics to new reads making waves, Dan kept track of each book in a handwritten list that has now been shared around the world.
He wasn't interested in important books. He was interested in someone being able to tell a good story.
What was the total for your dad based on this list that you know about?
It was just over 3,500.
Instilling in his family a love of reading and sharing the joy of a good book with everyone he knew.
Dan would always want you to know when he read a real page turner. So we hope people who are inspired by Dan's message will also read a real page turner.
That message shared after Dan's passing as a way to honor a life well lived and well read.
Do you know there was a man here who read more than 3,500 books?
I never did that.
Me either.
What Dan read.
I like Tiana.
Inspiring us all.
If you had to count on your fingers, how many books do you think you've read?
16.
16? That's a good number.
Dan's motto.
I like this.
Read what you love.
Peppa Pig.
His list and his legacy lives on.
The dialogue with him about books can continue indefinitely and spread around the globe.
Station Again, 10 TV News.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That is awesome. Do you read on a regular basis?
I love to read. I've got a Kindle. I'm someone that I've always loved like holding a book.
Absolutely.
But then when the Kindle was forced upon me, I was like, okay. And it's a game changer. So I do love to read. I love having all my books on my Kindle. Are you a reader?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
At least when I can. You know, with 2 kids and the whole family thing, it's tough to read sometimes. But I do love to read. And when I sit down with a good book, I am there for hours. Yeah. And I don't want to put it down.
What's your favorite? Or like a recent favorite?
Not to be cliche, but I just recently read a book about the Joplin tornado, and so anything that has to do with the weather is kind of my go-to.
Okay, I love that for you. That's really great. Now, do you read with your kids?
Oh yes, we read at least one book every night to the kids before they go to bed, and they are obsessed with books, and that's something that we are really happy about. We did the Dolly Parton library when my son was born. Yep, we enrolled in it, and we got all the books all the way up until he turned 5, and now we read them to his younger brother, who's 2 years younger. So yes, we've got books very instilled in our house.
Good, that's important.
Yeah.
I kind of want to read through what Dan read, his list.
There are apps now that you can track what books you've read. You don't even have to write it down with a pen and paper anymore.
Yeah, that's great. I think Dan would love that, I think. Yeah.
I bet he would still, even with the
go
apps,
handwritten? Yeah.
Probably. All right, and before we go, we want to leave you with this unlikely friendship. You never know how far a smile will go, but that's how 2 San Franciscans, a 93-year-old Holocaust survivor and a man nearly 40 years younger, became best friends.
Kevin Coe shows us how.
Today is one of Miriam and Ronaldo's favorite days of the week.
She's gonna have a pancake.
Pancake?
Yeah.
For 3 days every week, 93-year-old Miriam Ofer and 57-year-old Ronaldo Thompson sit down for a meal on Clement Street. Their secret handshake requires a thumbs up. Years of tradition and friendship that started here at the Jewish Community Center of San Francisco.
You wanna go to the stairs? Yeah. Okay, here they are.
Ronaldo isn't Jewish, but his wife works at the JCCSF and suggested he check out the pool, where Miriam just so happened to be.
I was in the pool. She came in, swam up to me, said, "I like your smile." Yeah. And I said, "I like your smile." Yeah. And we've been friends ever since.
What is good in a smile? It feels good that you have a good feeling with the person who is with you.
Ronaldo brings Miriam to her swimming classes here 3 days a week. The 93-year-old is a Holocaust survivor who lost her family during World War II.
My husband passed away a long time. He was in the concentration camp.
Just last year, she started having some memory problems, and she couldn't make it here by herself anymore. So her son contacted me and asked me would I be willing to bring her.
Ronaldo was more than willing. As much as he caters to Miriam, she helps him too.
She understands the hurt I've been through, and I understand the hurt she's been through.
As a black man, Ronaldo says he's seen racism in some of its worst forms. And through hundreds of meals and car rides, he's learned he's a lot like Miriam, even if others can't believe it.
They was like, "She is so tiny and you're so big." And I was like, it's just a size differential, but our hearts are the same. So we relate, because we've been through these type of tragedies. We relate. The Jewish community and the black community got way more in common than they don't.
Ronaldo's big smile hides the pain he lives with day to day. He fell from a scaffold in 2005, leaving him permanently disabled.
Thank God I don't have to drive with this left leg. If it was a stick, we'd be done. It's just over here aching and throbbing, and it's running up my back now.
By the time Ronaldo is done dropping off Miriam at her assisted living facility, his back pain is at its peak. But life's challenges seem much easier to bear when you have your best friend along for the ride.
I'm just blessed that I get to have time with her now. I mean, I tell people all the time, I don't know why the Lord chose me to be able to hang out with her.
Kevin Coe,
but I'm glad he did.
CBS News, Bay Area.
I'm holding back tears on that one.
My God.
I know.
We need more of that in the world, I think.
I know.
I love the stark difference between the two, but they just connected, and that was just, I think, the sweetest thing that I have seen in a long time.
I know, 40 years apart. It seems like there's a 4-foot height difference at least. So very sweet. You know, I like that he said there's a lot more in common than differences, and I think that's for everyone in the world. You know, if we come together, sit down, help each other, we'd find a lot more in common than we would not.
Their sizes are different, but their hearts are the same. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it.
That was
He said
great.
it. He said
Oh, he
it.
said that?
He
Okay.
said it. Yeah, no, that wasn't from my brain. No.
Oh, that's awesome. But we like to bring those stories here to Good News Forecast because you maybe wouldn't hear about it otherwise.
There you go. All right. And that does it for this week on Good News Forecast.
Good News Forecast is back next week on WTOL 11 Plus with the latest good news from around the world, across the country, and right here in our own backyards. Bye.